Hello and welcome back to Blow Up the Team. Jimmy here today with a very sleepy Matt.
I am no longer sleepy, and I am more questioning why my Ethernet died because this internet connection for me is horrible.
That's a tragedy.
Yeah, it really is.
Um, Also, we have a returning guest. I guess he's more of a permanent fixture at this point for any basketball-related video. Sai.
What's up, guys? Gonna be here for a while, hopefully.
We've also got two rotating guests. And when I say guests, I mean audience members that I am sure will find a way to get their voice heard at some point. Just to have a hunch. Anyways, um, so that was an interesting Eastern Conference Finals.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
Um,
God, who would have thought, man? Who would have thought?
Everyone keeps underestimating this Miami Heat team the entire way through, including us. We didn't really even back them that hard against the Pacers. I mean, we picked them, but like in like 6 games or something, and they made an embarrassment of that. We picked the Bucks in like 5 games, and they won in 4 or 5
Oh yeah,
games.
that was complete curveball right there.
And then we picked the Celtics.
Yeah, 'cause-
No, yeah, his
oh
internet is
no,
not cooperating.
no, keep going. I was gonna say, oh no, it's not.
Oh my
Oh.
Jesus!
Wow.
Spinky's taking in. All right, Spinky here. What are we talking about, Jeremy?
Alright,
Okay.
Jeremy.
We picked the Celtics above over the Heat, and obviously it was a closer series, I think, than okay, that was a bit unnecessary from Matt, but
Alright, I'm changing my laptop. This is ass. What the hell?
okay, yeah, do that. Um, no one wanted to trust. No one wanted to trust the Heat over the Celtics, including us. And they've done nothing but prove people wrong. It's a gritty team. They will not go away. They will not give up. They will continue to fight. And I think that is been completely underrated this entire run that they've been on. I think the fact that there's no fans is helping this team a lot. Not having to not having to go into Boston to play, not having to go into Milwaukee to play, just it's helping that young team, that young core, stay grounded. I think. Um, I do think that it would have been a bit of a different story if they did have to go travel, but at the end of the day, they didn't. This is the bubble. This is what they're dealing with, and I think that you couldn't have asked for a better playoff run for this Miami Heat team.
Oh no, you couldn't. The whole thing was that they developed as a team throughout the season, and in the playoffs, they're just showing like how good they are and how gritty they are. Like for each team that they faced, they're like for the Pacers, they just kept on switching their defense, and then for specifically Giannis, they just built a wall just to slow him down. And then now with the Celtics, what you saw was like a 2-3 zone. It was always this different game plan that they had, and they always stuck to it as a team. And that was the most important thing against the Celtics.
They just thoroughly outplayed the Boston Celtics as a team. Not necessarily individual players, just as a team, they were more united. I think the Celtics got tentative in that last game. I think that they got a little
Complacent.
yes, they settled for too many threes, and it came back and it bit them in the ass. Um, but listen, I don't want to spend too much time talking about the Celtics and the Heat. Let's focus on the Heat. They're in the finals for a reason. We were wrong about the Celtics. Well played to the Heat.
No, yeah. I mean, listen, the Heat, they came in, and the other word, like, some standout performance, like, Bam with a really awesome last game of the series. At the end of the day, they won because every step of the way, when one person, it wasn't always just one person going off. They had everyone working together. That team is so well fleshed out to work with each other. It's like, remember we were talking about the Toronto Raptors? We're like, well, they don't really have that one star player, but they have a really good core of guys. This is that, but better, because they have Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, so on and so forth.
It's just a very deep team. They have a lot of guys that can beat you. You know, Goran Dragic is capable of getting hot. Jimmy Butler, obviously, Bam Adebayo, as Matt mentioned, had a great game 6. Tyler Hero, we saw show out in a game or two. And then Duncan Robinson is one of the best 3-point shooters in the league for a reason. So they have too many guys that can beat you. That's not even mentioning the veteran piece of Andre Iguodala that's proven to be a big addition for them, as well as Jay Crowder. So it's really just coming down to this is just a very complete team. They play together and they play for each other, and they're willing to go head to head with anybody. They're not scared of anybody. They're not going to back down. And there's a reason that this team has found itself in the NBA Finals. They may not have been the most talented team on paper. They may not have been the best team going into the bubble. They had a fantastic stretch of basketball to get to this point. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens in this next series because this is a team that's constructed very differently than the teams that they've gotten throughout East in the Los Angeles Lakers.
Because the thing is, a Heat is like an all-around team, right? They perform as a team. Lakers, they do as well. But when you think of Lakers, what do you think? There are two names that come to mind. LeBron
It's
and,
the
and AD.
LeBron and AD show, yeah.
Exactly. So, will two people essentially beat a team is what we need to see. And I think it will be a true testament to LeBron's like career if he's able to win against his Miami Heat team. Because he was on that team before. You know?
Yeah, I think that the other I was thinking about this the other day. The Los Angeles Lakers have the best two players in the series, but you could argue that the Heat have 6 of the next 7. Like this is a very deep Miami team. They don't care. They don't care who gets the glory for that day. It's all about winning. If Jimmy Butler gets his praises sung, then that's great. If Bam Adebayo gets it, then that's great. If it's Tyler Hero, if it's Duncan Robinson, they don't care. They just want to win basketball games, and it's something that we haven't seen seen be super successful in recent times. I mean, you had the obviously Golden State versus Toronto last year, but then there was a lot of injuries, and it was still undoubtedly Kawhi Leonard's team. Everybody else was just playing on it. So this is a very well coached Miami Heat team. They've gone well to get to this far. I think that considering how young they are and considering their lack of superstar talent, I think, like I said earlier, the bubble was built for them. Not having to go into those stadiums, not having to deal with all the crowd noise, is definitely a big thing for a big help for them. And I think because of the inexperience on their roster, maybe a little bit more so than other teams. But at the end of the day, you can't take anything away from them. This team played their asses off to get here. Looking at the other side of the bracket, you're looking at a Los Angeles Lakers team that has really yet to be tested. I mean,
Girlfriend buff wore off.
I think they were tested. They're definitely, even though they're clear, there was a clear like 4-1, 4-1, 4-1 for each series, right? They won 4 games to 1. The Nuggets series in particular, they got challenged by Jamal Murray and Jokic. They definitely did.
And they're also challenged by teams that are very similar to their team.
Exactly.
Like that is the one advantage that Miami has, is that when you look at the teams they played in the West, every team had a very similar structure. It's the top 2 guys. It's those 2 giants, and see what the rest of the guys can do. Like, that's a really funny thing I saw. Is like, Kuzma talking trash on social media after going like 3 for 14 or something and winning the game anyway. But like literally, that is the difference between these 2 teams. Is there's no
There's a lot more team chemistry with the Heat than what we used to with the Lakers.
exactly.
Lakers, they have chemistry.
I don't know that that's fair to
like-
say. I think it's different team chemistry.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
no.
saying like
I think
no, but
yeah.
like, if something is like, if we were to compare these 2 teams and say like who has the better chemistry, they both have team chemistry. It's not a question of that. But like the Heat are a lot more together as a team, both on the court and off the court. That's true. I think that's completely true compared to the Lakers.
Yeah, and like because like you said, it's a different, like Jeremy said, it's a different kind of chemistry. It's because it's how the team is built. The team is very clearly built around LeBron and AD. Now that's a bad way to build a team because obviously it's a very good way to build a team.
I think that
But
the difference from the Lakers to the Heat is that the Lakers, their type of they all understand they have a role to play, right? You look at the guys like Dwight Howard, you look at the guys like JaVale McGee, Rondo, Danny Green. All these guys understand they have a role to play. They're not gonna be the star of the game. They're not gonna carry the load of the team on their back. They are, at the end of the day, there for a purpose, and they have to fulfill that purpose in order for the team to be successful. Whereas the Heat don't have those two guys that are going to be always leading the way, that are always going to be your top two guys. And so their team chemistry is just centered differently because they need to play together as a team. They don't all have individual roles that they need to go do. They all have to play together, and they have to play cohesively if they want to win. And I think that for that reason, I don't know that one team chemistry is necessarily better than the other. It's just you see it culminate differently, right? If you look at what guys like Dwight Howard are doing, they have a job to do, and they are doing that job perfectly. That's part of why the Lakers have won in such handling fashion. Some guys like Dwight Howard took a step up. He handled Jokic in the last series. I don't care what you have to say to me. He was an absolute problem for Nikola Jokic.
That's true. No. I completely agree with that. Like, and also about your statement about like how team chemistry is different. Like, the way you approach team chemistry for each team is different. I agree with
Absolutely.
you on that.
Yeah. The both teams have an unquestioned leader in the locker room, right? Obviously it's LeBron, and then it's Jimmy Butler. But LeBron also has the ability to just take over the game and make it his team. It is his team. He's running it. Everybody else is just there to play their part. You could even argue that at some points, especially coming down the stretch of Game 5 the other night, even Anthony Davis was just a man on the floor. At the end of the day, LeBron James said, about 7 minutes to go, he decided, give me the ball and get out of my way. It's my time. We're
Listen.
ending this.
80 needs to learn that he's good. Like, he needs to be able to know that there's no one on that Nuggets team, like when they were in that series, that could guard him. And maybe in the Heat series too, like who can guard AD?
They're going to
Like,
have to match up Bam with him. It's the only guy that,
yeah, it's the only
size-wise
guy.
makes sense.
And even then, it's gonna be difficult for Bam.
And then you're looking at a aging Andre Iguodala looking to have to play substantial minutes this series if you want to have a guy that physically is built enough to stay in front of LeBron. Which is I'm
Maybe
interested
they
to see how
might
that
put
works.
who might they put other than Andre Iguodala?
I mean, they'll put Jimmy Butler on him for stretches.
Jimmy, yeah.
Yeah, those are the only two guys that I think. I mean, I guess you could put Jay Crowder on him, but.
But then if you're putting AD as the 4, and then Dwight, if they're gonna start Dwight as the 5, like that matchup on and of itself is very difficult to even address defensively.
Well, I am
Everything-
interested to see how the Lakers play this because this is a similar conversation that we had going into the Rockets series, where do they continue to play big and make the Heat match their size, or do they go small and match the Heat size and try to beat them at their own game?
No,
no, do not try to beat it their own game. You will not beat them at their own game. That team is that team is very clear. The LeBron AD show. Let them carry the team, and then everyone else play their roles they need to play in order to enable their top two guys. That's how they need to play. That's how the team's built. When you're a team like that tries to play to someone else's advantage that's not your own, that's when you see teams underperform. I just don't see a world where that should ever be a thing that comes across.
Well, floor
their
spacing
mind.
unfortunately becomes an issue when you put Dwight Howard on the floor.
True.
And against the Heat team that has proven that they are very creative defensively, they may not have a choice but to go small and try to spread the floor. With Rondo, who's shooting out of his mind from 3, Danny Green, LeBron, maybe Kuzma and Anthony Davis, and that would be your 5 guys. And that's still, like, size-wise, that still causes some mismatches, but it's just not going to cause the same mismatch as the Twin Towers. It's just not going to.
I'm telling you, they have to run that lineup with AD and Dwight in the front court. So it's gonna be interesting.
I agree with you that it's a good lineup to run, but then the problem is that you have one of those two guys on either Jimmy Butler or Jay Crowder, and I don't think either one of them are particularly great matched up against those two guys.
I see that, yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, I think it would be better if it's like if let's say the Heat are running out their small ball lineup, they got Dragic, Hero, Butler, Adebayo, and Jay Crowder or Andre Iguodala. It doesn't matter which one. Then you're stuck, quote unquote, stuck with either Dwight or AD on a much laterally quicker, I would argue, guy in either Iguodala or Jay Crowder, who, while they're not gonna light up the scoreboard night in and night out, or they're capable of driving to the rim and drawing some fouls, and you don't want to get AD in foul trouble. So I think that they may not have a choice but to go smaller and put Kuzma out there with AD, because he's, I think, defensively a better matchup for those two guys, in my opinion.
Maybe starting off the game may not be the right mindset, but going small ball starting off. Maybe in between, like within the game, like you can see small ball. But like after the first game, that's when you know like whether or not that lineup, like whether or not going big or going small will work. Like that first game has to happen before we even make like a determination on that.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just looking ahead, and I'm saying, we had this same conversation about the Rocket series, and we said stay big, make them guard you, and they didn't do that, and they proved us wrong. They proved that they didn't need to do that. And obviously the talent level of the rest of the roster is much different. Obviously, the Rockets are constructed very differently than Miami Heat are. But realistically speaking, it's a similar principle, right? You've got to be able to see what matchups work. And if Dwight Howard being on the floor is just not a favorable matchup, then we may see him have to take a back seat again.
Yeah. It's not like the Nuggets, who have like a dominant center, right?
Yeah.
The Nuggets team were legitimately perfectly built for the Lakers to be able to run that big lineup out there, because you just get to go stick Dwight Howard out there. And I say stick, I mean like you that is a benefit for your team, that you get to get that energy guy off the bench to come in and really just be an absolute pest for Nikola Jokic. Got him in foul trouble, got under his skin. He did everything you could ask him to do in that series.
He got better throughout the series, but like it was not enough. He got a little bit used to it, but like Dwight definitely like did his job.
Absolutely. There's a reason why everybody was uniting around that team, and I think Dwight Howard is a big part of it. He's proven that he's not a cancer in the locker room like he used to be, right? He's becoming the kind of team guy. You see him always hyping his teammates up, keeping the team motivated, keeping them together, creating that energy, right? And then he didn't play the entire Rocket series pretty much, and they said, hey, come in and guard arguably the best center in the league, and he came in and he did that.
No, yeah, but listen, like the fact that he had to admit and sit on the bench for that entire series is a testament to how much he has grown over the years. Like before, he would always have these locker room problems. He went back when he was on the Lakers with Kobe, and even on the Rockets too with Harden. So he was always like trying to compete. Like this is me. I want to be on this team. I want to be the face of this team. Like I want to be as involved as much as possible. But now he's understanding his role. He knows what his job is. He knows what to do. He's okay with taking a seat on the bench for Rockets. And then when it comes to Nuggets, like whenever Jokic is on the floor, he plays. Whenever he's not, he leaves. That's his role, and he's okay with it, which should definitely benefit the Lakers, and it will hopefully help him with the Heat matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that credit to this entire Lakers team, both players and coaches alike, for getting everyone on this roster to buy into playing their role, buy into doing what they need to do to win every night instead of trying to make it about them. It's not an easy thing to do. We've saw a lot of teams try to do that with Dwight, and it failed. For whatever reason, whether it was Dwight was on a personal mission because he wants a ring, whether it was the coaching staff handling him correctly, whether it was a reality check on his end, or LeBron, whatever you want to point it to, at the end of the day, they got everyone on this team to buy in to the Laker culture, to the fact that it's time. It's time to win, and we need to play together if we want to do that. And everybody needs to do their job, and they need to step up. And you can't fabricate that. And I think that's why I was arguing earlier that the chemistry is super relevant for the Lakers, because look at what they've done. They've pulled together a team of a lot of veterans who have a lot of reasons to have egos, and they've made everyone buy in.
Oh man, the 80 shot right there.
Yeah, that was a great shot. Absolutely. Um,
Would love to be watching, but internet doesn't like me.
that's valid. Obviously, I'm sure you've seen a million clips, even just from what I've sent you of 80's shot
Oh
to
yeah.
win game two. So you knew
Oh
it
yeah.
was on.
I went and looked that up on my own before I even like. Oh yeah. I've been keeping.
Yeah, that was a great shot. That was a great game for them to win. To be able to withstand that Nuggets run, I think kind of dampened the souls of the Nuggets a little bit. They were so used to just getting into those big deep runs in the second half, and then teams not really being able to get their head back in the game. Those first two series, and the fact that the Lakers were able to pull that game out, even though they came back and lost game three. I actually predicted that they were going to lose game three before they even played it, just because I just had a feeling. But like I think it showed everyone, both Nuggets and Lakers, that yeah, they're going to go on a run, but that's okay.
Were you gonna go with the 3-1 narrative? That's why you felt they were gonna win Game 3.
No, I felt like they were going to win game three because of what it required of the Lakers. Like listen, AD is not like yeah, AD's a big time player, but you can't rely on him to make that shot every single time. And
Or
it
keep performing the same way he does every night.
yeah,
Like
absolutely.
it's hard.
And so I just had a gut feeling that after all that it took for them to pull out game two, that the Nuggets were going to come out something different in game three, and they were not going to have the same heroics. But I also, in that same breath that I called that they were going to lose game three, predicted the fact that they would win games four and five, and that also turned out to be correct.
Yeah.
Um, I think that the team played well. The playoff rondo is a real thing.
Man, even in Game 3, when they were trying to come back in the fourth quarter, Rondo was going off. Gosh, repeated steals, consecutive steals. It's like I think one stretch, and he was just lighting it up on three in that series.
He's shooting almost 45% from three this postseason.
Dang, dang.
That will work. We'll take that from him. He's shooting almost three games, shooting 45%. You can't ask for any better than that. Um, as you mentioned, he's got active hands. He's averaging over a steal and a half a game, and they always seem to come right when the team needs them. Like it's not like he's just like it's blow away and he's just racking up steals for the numbers. Like all right when it's the turn of the game and it's really time for the team to step up and show that they've got something. They need that little spark. That is where he seems to come up with his biggest plays. And you know, having that secondary ball handler, that secondary decision maker, that is not LeBron James, and allowing him to be able to come out and still have an offense, which is something that LeBron teams
That's
have lacked
key to team,
historically,
man.
is huge.
Yeah, it's key to team. Playmaking is one of the most important parts of an offense, and having that always every single for a full 48 minutes, having always a playmaker on the field, sorry, on the floor, uh, is key, and it just makes everything a lot better. A
It
lot
allows
better.
LeBron to come out. Obviously, he's playing point guard, but when you have guys like Rondo and Caruso has the ability every once in a while to make something happen. Like when you have guys like that can go and get a shot for themselves or go and get a shot for a teammate. Listen, AD is great. He's not that playmaker. He can go and get a shot for himself, but he's not necessarily going to go make that shot for his teammate, right?
Man, when he gets double teamed, that's when it gets real rough. That's why you
Absolutely.
need like
But
that's why you need Rondo on there.
yeah, that's exactly where Rondo comes in. When you can take LeBron out, put Rondo in, and still have a playmaker on the floor, still have an elite passer on the floor, that you need that. That's exactly what the team needs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rondo, even in only 24 minutes, is averaging over 7 assists this postseason. That's your
That's fine.
secondary ball handler. That's your guy
That's
right there.
fine. He's doing his job. That's the most important thing.
That's honestly the
Everyone on
theme.
this Lakers bench has their role, and they know exactly what they're doing. They're like that, and that's the other thing I think is going to really have to shine in this is just coaching flexibility, because you're going to see whichever team has to make the more adjustments, or whichever team does a better job making adjustments, I should say, is going to be the one that comes out on top, because we've seen the Heat play different styles of basketball against different opponents. I'm very interested to see what they come out with here. That's a very creative team behind there, and so I think it's going to be interesting to see how the Lakers react to it and what they counter with strategy wise. I think that'll be very
It's gonna be a
interesting.
very good series, man.
Oh, absolutely.
It's gonna be a very good series.
I also
I
want to
really
say,
think.
shout out real quick, Jamal Murray. I hope that those were just kind of wear and tear after playing all those games in the bubble, and that he doesn't have any serious injury going on in there. I don't think that he did, but it was a shame to see him hobbled in Game 5 the way that he was. He was not the same
And
player.
yeah, but even then, he was still performing really well, even with that injury. So like, shout out to him, man.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely, man.
He's one hell of a player, and I think like after like the playoffs, man, I think he'll go down as like one of the key, or he is the key player on Nuggets. But like, hopefully he'll get like a super max or something. Hopefully he'll get paid someday.
Well, it
I
won't be
really
a
want
super
him,
max. He's not eligible yet.
but
But
max.
he,
Like,
he
hopefully
needs
he'll
to go get
paid.
himself a contract. He's still young, man. He's still got a lot of room to grow. It was just a shame to see how dead he was when it came to the end of that series. It's just a lot of basketball. Having to come back from 3-1 twice, I think by the time he got to Game 5, it was just the legs were done.
Oh no, absolutely. That's gonna be exhausting.
Yeah,
Like,
two
at the end of
game
the day,
sevens, man. Two
like
game
you've had
sevens.
2 Game 7s, and you have a Lakers team that, is at most at a Game 5. Like the fact is that they were just way more fresh than they were, and eventually they were just worn out.
You know, the thing is,
And
they never got. Come to think of it, because they had all game sevens, and there's always a point waiting for them on the other side. I don't think they've gotten more than a day's rest.
Yeah, but the longest that if I remember correctly, the longest break they got was 2 days before this series.
Oh, really? Oh, 2 days. Okay.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, the league recognized the fact that they were going to need a little bit of an extra break, and so if I remember
Oh, yeah.
correctly, they played Game 7, got the typical 1 day's rest, and then they got one extra day if I remember correctly. But that's still not enough
But that's
rest to
it.
recover from
Two
a grueling
days.
7 game
2 days
series.
is not. Yeah,
oh
2 days
yeah,
is not enough. Like anyone can understand. Like doing that every day, and then a couple of those games are OT.
Yeah,
So like,
and Jamal Murray was a guy, he was playing over 40 minutes a night, like primary ball handler, crunch time ball on his hands, like ready to make the play. So, shout out to him, man. It's a gritty player right there. And this was one of the better playoff runs that you can ask for any player, especially a player as young as he is.
I mean,
Um,
can't wait.
I do
exciting
have
offseason.
to I will have a LeBron rant probably at some point in this video, but before I get to it, I do have to point out I am tired of hearing all of the people that say that LeBron is not clutch, that he can't close a game. I'm talking to you, Skip Bayless. I'm tired of it, man.
Skip
Front
Bayless. I
running
don't
my
understand
ass.
how he gets paid so much money to just be wrong about literally
Man,
everything. Like,
did you hear that? Did you see that one video where like Skip had to say 10 nice things
Yeah, I did.
about
I
LeBron?
watched it.
Yeah, yeah. Thank God. This is the best moment of my life.
Bro,
Finally hearing
I
like
am tired. Everybody, I'm not even saying it was just Skip. Like there are quite a few people, like high paid analysts that like are always saying like LeBron is not the clutch guy. Like he doesn't want the big shot. He's always like he can like Skip was famous for saying he can front run but he can't close. I'm sorry. LeBron James scored like 12 straight points in the fourth quarter. He was hitting everything he looked at. He absolutely took the ball with like 7 minutes to go, up four or up however many. It was a pretty close game at that point. He just said, "Give me the ball and get out of the way," and
he
he went
knows. Like
absolutely nuclear to close
he
out that game.
knows when the game is in peril. Like he knows when to take over, how to take over. He has that experience. He is one of the best players, if not the best player in the league right now. And
and my favorite one. The Clippers would have beaten the Lakers. Even the Lakers know that, and you can imagine how hard he got ratioed on that.
wait. Did you say the Clippers would have beaten the Lakers?
That's what Skip
That's what
Bayless
Skip
said.
Bayless says consistently.
He
okay.
said that an hour after
Matt, I was
they
about
won.
to flame you right there.
Oh
about to-
no! I said this to Jeremy. I'm like, I added him in Discord. I'm like, why does anyone pay this man still?
He just gets paid to have bad opinions. But the streak that we're about. This is a Western Conference highlights video, and it seems like they're going in chronological order. So the stretch that LeBron had starting about halfway through that fourth quarter until the close of the game is one of the most dominant individual stretches I have seen a player have. It I think the difference in this game, in this closeout game versus all the other closeout games the Nuggets had, is that when the Nuggets made their run, the Nuggets got back in the game, the Nuggets were ready to put themselves back into contention for this game. They had somebody that was ready to just take the game over.
Yeah.
And whereas the Clippers didn't have that with Kawhi and Paul George not playing well, and the Utah Jazz, Donovan Mitchell just couldn't quite keep up with Jamal Murray. LeBron just decided that it was time for him to go win this game. I would think that he was quoted as saying that he was, quote, ending this shit tonight to one of the people before the game started, and he put his money where his mouth was in this game. Last few minutes, he just decided it was time for him to go win this basketball game.
Honestly, this is one of the great performances by someone year 17. Year 17, and this man is still leading a team.
All those
To
minutes
this
on those
level,
legs.
this quality of play. Damn. Like, listen.
And I think it was this play right here is the three he hits right in somebody's face, and you just turn around and you just see the mean
Oh,
mug.
yeah. You kind of traveled here, but
Nah, we'll allow it. We'll allow it.
we'll allow it, yeah.
Like, you can't do anything about that. That is just a fantastic play by a fantastic player. And
Clutch.
that is what is going to make this series so interesting, is because we can sit here and watch the Lakers and we can point out one play by one player that changed the series. You can't do that necessarily for the Miami Heat. It was always about the team effort. Maybe Jimmy Butler had his moments, Tyler Hero had his moments, but you're just seeing a complete clash of styles.
Yeah. But that's the thing. They're very adaptable to any given situation. You put them with one team, they'll come up with a plan that will work. If not work initially, they'll find a way. And they're like that kind of team where just like they'll change how they play their defense as soon as like they start or the balls to get tossed up in there. Like it's a very versatile team.
It's a
And
very well
here-
coached team.
Coach team as well. Eric Spoelstra is doing a very good job by coaching that team. It's not just the players; it's the coaching system as well.
We underestimated the Heat all the way through. And honestly, what kind of frustrates me is I'm seeing a lot of like analysts and everybody like that are just not giving the Heat a chance. They're saying, Lakers in 5, maybe even in 4.
Not just the analysts, man. It's us too.
Oh no, I'm talking more about like they're overwhelming favorites for a reason, absolutely. But I don't think that I don't think a lot of people are giving the Heat team the credit that they deserve. Like, to come out here and say they don't have any chance at all, I think is just naive.
Oh, okay. That's I mean, I would
yeah,
imagine.
listen, everyone wrote off. Like, we all wrote him off. Everyone fucking wrote him off.
Yeah, everyone did.
Like, it's like, all right, well, there goes the Heat. It's like I kind of wish I stuck up for him earlier because I'm like, I felt good about them, but obviously I'm not gonna fucking stick my neck out to say anything drastic. I stuck my neck out for the Brooklyn Nets to win one basketball game, and that was enough sticking my neck out for myself. So we're gonna.
I'm not even just talking. I'm not talking about that. Like, it's just like I've been watching a lot of predictions.
No, I know.
And everybody's saying like that if they even win a game, it's miraculous. And I just don't think that's fair to this Heat team.
It's so disrespectful after what they did.
It's just how Charles Barkley, every time someone wins like game 1, he's like, it's a clean sweep. He's gonna bring out the broom and he's gonna sweep the entire TNT floor. Like, those kind of like people kind of irk me, because you haven't seen the whole series yet. Like
the recency bias that causes everybody to just completely overreact to one basketball game is astounding to me.
Exactly.
Yeah, where's the recency bias for the Heat? Hello?
No,
someone give me some hot take about the Heat that, like, in a positive light. Like,
while I'm studying for my exams, I have probably listened and watched to like more hours than I can count of like analysts breaking down the series, and I think I've yet to see a person pick the Lakers in more than 5 games. That's how disrespected the Heat are being right now.
If we're gonna put a number to like how many games it's gonna be for the series, I would say 6. if anything, because I think he will definitely give a fight. 100% will give a fight. But whether or not Lakers will win or Heat will win, it's slightly. I think Lakers will edge them out on that part.
I mean, listen, NBA Finals. It's crunch time. It's hard to not pick the best player in the series, and especially when they have the best two players in the
It's
series.
hard not to. Yeah.
It's hard not to pick them. But to say that the Heat, listen,
Not
two players
five.
don't
Not,
win you
not
a
five.
series. Two players
Mhm.
do not win you a series. They can absolutely carry the team, but you need other players to step up. If they go absolutely ice cold, like everybody else on the team goes absolutely ice cold, it's not impossible for the Heat to win. Like,
That's true. That's true.
you know,
But I'm saying that there's going to be like two of those games where, um, LeBron, AD have to step it up for the team to win. But if the Heat do well, then it's probably not going to happen where Lakers will win.
absolutely.
And
And
so
I
it's not. You
think,
can't say 5. I don't think you can say the series will be 1-5 or 4.
yeah, no, I agree. I agree with Lakers in 6. But
Yeah.
the other thing I'm gonna say is, um, again, I said it earlier. I'm gonna reiterate myself. The fact that this is in a bubble with no fans helps out this young Heat team immensely. Not having to go into LA for 4 games and deal with the roaring fans out in Staples Center for a young
Yeah.
team like this, when you're looking at guys, I mean, Tyler Hero can't even drink. The man is playing in the NBA Finals. He can't even drink. He's 20 years old. Not having to go in and deal with those tens of thousands of fans bearing down on him is going to make it a lot easier for the Heat team to play relaxed, right? First of all, um, they obviously don't have to deal with the fans that are in there. They're already playing with house money because no one expected them to be here. This is already a miraculous run for them. They could lose in 4. They could lose in a straight sweep, and it was still a success of a season because they were not even supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Right? The Lakers
Yeah.
came in championship or bust. All the pressure is on the Lakers right now. Now, do I still fully expect them to step up and win this series? Absolutely. But the if there was ever a year to pick a team like the Heat, these are the conditions for it.
This is the type of shit that basketball is missing for like me and for everyone for like number of years now. Don't get me wrong, you got familiar face LeBron in there, but like seriously, like it's been the same exact shit every year for like since like Golden State was began its like dynasty run. It's like everything's like, oh well, here's the other team that's here. It's like it's who everyone expects almost all the time. It was never it's finally we have a really fucking exciting
Cinderella team.
exactly like it's like no like going
This is
into
the
the season
hardest.
it's like what the hell is the Heat doing here, and then the Heat are like,
I
well actually we're gonna take Giannis and make him look useless. So
Listen. It's a mental standpoint because you're in a bubble, right? For 3 months straight, no interactions with others outside. You're stuck in this one area this whole entire time. For both sides, it's just gonna be a mental challenge. Because when it comes to with the championship, it's gonna be the toughest championship because of the circumstances that they're in. So whoever can handle that pressure better will have a good chance. Not like 100% chance. A good chance of starting off the series really well and then hopefully closing it out. So honestly, Lakers probably have they have more experience collectively, like
Absolutely.
championship runs.
What I
oh
would
100%.
Yeah, so like them 100% right now
Yeah,
from a mental
absolutely.
standpoint.
The one thing I heard Skip say today was he was talking about how you get into the NBA Finals and the rim starts to get smaller. Guys start to tighten up a little bit. There's a lot of pressure on them. I almost feel like because it is in the bubble, that it's the pressure's just not gonna hit the same. Like I understand that for these players, it still means the world to them. They're still gonna go out there and play their hearts out, but not having that energy from the fans in the arena has to take a bit of a mental load off because there's a reason role players tend to play better at home, and it's because of the you get the fans behind you and they're not against you. And I think that that is one thing that I think that a lot of people are overlooking is they're like, oh, well, they're so young and they're in the NBA Finals. Well, yeah, they're in the NBA Finals, but they're also in a bubble where they don't have to deal with the fans. They don't have to deal with all the, normal BS that goes on in the finals with all the crazy media attention and all that. They're in a bubble. They have their media day, but then at the end of the day, they get to go back and do their thing. And I think that, like I said, this is the perfect storm for a Cinderella team. We've seen them rip through the East like it was a joke up until this point, and I think that this should be a very good series.
Yeah, man. Lakers in 6. 100%. Full send. Hopefully you're right. Hopefully you're right.
I mean, listen, I really part of me wants the Heat to win because it's the Cinderella story completed,
Yeah.
and everyone loves that. But like realistically, and I honestly, I'm not going to be upset with this series no matter how it goes. I'm like, it's going to be a good series, and I just don't think there's that. I think it's just logical to say the Lakers are going to win in 6, and
Man.
and I hope to God that the Lakers don't lose it, just so I don't have to listen to. I don't have to like get like a million fucking notifications of Paul Pierce jacking off into a microphone.
Oh my God, Paul Pierce.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys saw the video I sent in this chat earlier today. I'm assuming neither of you did.
No.
Paul Pierce was just like, the problem with today's NBA is they're scared of LeBron James. We were never scared of LeBron James. Yeah,
LeBron's
you were in
living
the
rent-free.
you were in the league for years before he got in there. Of course you're
LeBron's
not
living-
scared of him.
LeBron is living rent-free in his head.
Rent free, boys. Rent free.
Rent-free, 100%.
Everything that comes out of that man's mouth in some way is him attempting to slight LeBron, and it is honestly comical.
I don't
Honestly,
listen to analysts, man. That's why. Maybe I just listen to them to what they're saying. But like when it comes to just like pure performance of how players doing, how the dynamics are playing out on the court and off the court, it's just simple. You just gotta watch the game. Like you guys gotta watch the game and see what happens. Like analysts can say one thing, but
Oh,
happens in the
and
court.
thumbnail gun has come into the chat and said he's gonna bet 50 cents that the Heat wins, and then he followed that up by saying, "Fuck it, Miami Heat clean sweep. Lakers get less than 100 points each game."
how much is he betting?
50 cents.
Bet more. Tell him to bet more.
Should put this in like an actual sports book.
Oh,
actually
he's
happens.
he's a big baller now. He's up to $1.
Oh man,
$10. Tell him to $10.
that's
What do you think? He's made of money?
It's $10, man.
Do you think he's made of money?
I'm not a betting man, but fine, $1.
I'm broke, bitch. But
All right, fine.
Let-
$1.
let's go ahead real quick, and then we can wrap this up.
All right.
Let's pick a Finals MVP.
LeBron.
It's a valid question because
Oh,
there
LeBron.
is a world where Anthony Davis. I truly believe there is a world where Anthony Davis wins Finals MVP, which hurts my heart
Yeah,
to
okay.
say, but I do think there is a world where it happens.
It's
I
just
don't
that I
think- I don't think it's
need I
impossible
need
to believe.
AD. If AD's gonna win that, from the get go, he's gotta be aggressive. Like I don't want to see him like get double teamed and then pass the ball out and then maybe get a turnover every time he gets like in that scenario. I need him to be aggressive. Like, drive to the net. Come on.
I think
Like,
it also
like,
depends on which version of LeBron you get. If you get the version of LeBron that closed Game 5, he's going to win MVP. If you get the version of LeBron that's content to just sit there and, get all his teammates involved, rack up the assists, and then just slowly, like, I've noticed that there's a lot of games where he puts up like 25, 26 points, and it didn't feel like he was that aggressive the entire game. And I think that what wins Finals MVPs a lot of times is like the kind of like the flashier plays, like the eye grabbers. There's a lot of eye test that goes into it.
Oh,
And,
absolutely.
But then what do you feel about Caruso?
oh,
Alex
here we go.
Caruso.
Here we go.
Oh.
Okay. Here we go.
That's right. That's correct. The real MVP, Alex Caruso. Time for him
Yeah,
to
Here we
step
go.
up.
Waiting
Listen.
for
He's
some of
dropping
these.
minimum 30 points in at least 3 of these games.
I'm really waiting for one of the audience members to come in and make their case for J.R. Smith for Finals MVP. I'm waiting for it.
Dude, he's a legend, man. A legend, living legend. Man, this
Thumbnail Gun has predicted Bam Adebayo for MVP.
That's a solid shot. If they sweep, which is not going to happen, I'll get that $1 from you.
I mean,
for sure.
listen.
But,
If the Heat actually do win it, I don't think it's unreasonable to say
I mean,
Bam
yeah,
MVP.
if the Heat win, I think it's either Bam, Jimmy Butler, or Tyler Hero. Those are the
Tyler.
only 3 guys.
Yeah. Oh wait, Goran Dragic. What about
He's
him?
not flashy enough.
I mean, listen.
And he's
like,
not the
points-wise,
defense. The reason I think that Jimmy or Bam are the 2 leaders for the Miami Heat is because they also can get it done defensively, whereas Tyler Hero and Dorian
But
Dragic are not that.
yeah, Jimmy doesn't put up comparative, mind you, to all of the other teammates. He doesn't put up that many like points. He does impact the game.
Hey, what are you
Don't get me
talking
wrong,
about?
But like,
He's averaging 20 points this postseason. He's second on the team behind Goran Dragic by 0.2 of a point.
that's what I'm saying. Goran Dragic is the top scorer.
By
in the playoffs.
0.2 of a point.
Oh my god, it doesn't matter. Hey, listen, I'm telling you, like, don't leave out Goran Dragic.
Okay, fine. Jimmy Butler's only the second leading scorer, but he's also leading the team in steals and is averaging half a block a game. Whereas Goran Dragic has less than a steal a game, and he may have 1 block the entire postseason.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just saying, there's so many players on there that you have to consider. Finals MVP.
Interesting
But
playoff
it's
stat. In the playoffs, Bam Adebayo is leading the team in assists.
Are you serious? He's a point center.
No,
He's a point center.
I'm dead serious. I'm looking at it right now. Goran Dragic by
Like,
0.2 of a
what
point
the
for
fuck?
points, and then
There were moments, in the fourth quarter of Game 6, when Bam Adebayo took over, he was always bringing the ball up the court every time. That was very interesting to see. Like, that just like I'm commending. Like, that skill is necessary. Like, if you have a center that's bringing the ball up the court and actually doing playmaking, like, bro, what do you do in that scenario?
yeah, I mean, it is interesting to see. But what I am also noticing is that there's a lot of guys that get a couple of assists a game because they just share the ball very well. It's part of what makes the Heat
Mhm.
so fun to watch. Is they just share the ball very well, get everybody involved, play together as a team.
No,
Um,
that's exactly why I love watching this team. Everyone. It's like one. They are one cohesive unit. Like watching during the first game of the Celtics, like they had the textbook, 5 men working the ball around the entirety of the court, just all completely in sync, and it was really impressive to watch. So you could see like when the Celtics would break, when they would make the Celtics make a mistake and make space for someone like that. That's what makes the Heat so much fun to watch, is that they have a bunch of guys who are good at creating separation for each other and good at creating moments for everyone else, for everyone to put up good numbers.
Absolutely. But yeah, I think that if the Lakers win, it's either going to be LeBron or AD. I think LeBron obviously has to be the favorite. But there is a world I think where Anthony Davis wins the Finals MVP, and then if the Heat win, honestly, I think it's either got to go through Jimmy Butler or Bam Adebayo. I don't think that they can win if it doesn't go through either one of those 2 guys. One of those 2 guys would have to have the series of his life if they want to win this
No,
series.
yeah, the MVP, especially in like the NBA, the MVP tends to be like it's. I don't know.
Crowd
Excuse me if I'm
favorite,
wrong, but it definitely seems to be crowd favorite. It's not like World Series or the baseball MVPs where you get like Scott Brosius winning World Series MVP for a guy who played fucking backup third base for his entire career.
It's not based on statistics. Not
No, yeah,
necessarily
it's
based on statistics.
not at
It's
all.
just like
Like, it's
what
backed
Jeremy
up in
said before,
statistics?
and it's been saying all the time. Like, it's about like performance and flashy.
Andre
thank you.
Iguodala won
Assists.
Finals MVP because he
Finish my
quote
name.
unquote limited LeBron. Let's not forget that. Steph Curry
Fav-
does not
Well,
have a Finals
2015?
MVP because of that.
This is 2015, right?
2015.
Also, thank you, Spinky, for participating with your coughing.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Pinky, buddy.
But you know what's funny? By the way, my favorite Heat player, Udonis Haslem.
What has he done? He hasn't
No,
done anything.
no, literally nothing.
He's an
It was
extra coach.
it was a random game that Jeremy popped up just to see how many people we all knew. Like, we went with teammates of LeBron, and I don't know why I knew him, and then sure enough, the stat came up that he's been in every all of their last 6 finals performances. I'm like, oh, maybe that's where I know him from. But anyway, that was just, I don't know, I just
Yeah.
wanted
Yeah,
to throw it
I
in
think
there.
I saw a
Name
post that-
dropping.
Hasn't he been in the NBA Finals for each of the past 3 decades?
Wait, are you serious?
I think
3
so.
decades. 3 decades.
Well, because this is the 2020, right? So it's a new decade.
Oh, okay.
Oh
yeah,
shit! Right.
To
Okay. All right.
2010s, obviously with the
I
LeBron-led
was about
teams.
to say, how old was this man?
And I think
Holy
that
shit, he's 40.
yeah, no, he's old, bro. He's been in the league forever.
But he's just on the bench.
And then he was
just
on the.
sitting
I'm pretty
bench.
sure he was on that Dwayne Wade Shaq team that went.
Yes.
You know, like whatever the hell. I'm not gonna
Oh,
pretend like I know
six.
what number.
Oh,
it is.
6.
I was gonna
He's
guess
been on the
07.
Heat since 2003. He has not
No.
played for a
The
different NBA
championship
team.
for the Heat was in 06.
Yeah, no, I'm assuming you're right. I was just saying I would have
Yeah.
guessed 07.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
Don't worry, I got you, Ben.
he just is hanging around. He's essentially a coach at this point, but he embodies everything that's great about Heat culture.
Grit, teamwork, and defense. Defense is the most important thing.
Absolutely.
I can't wait. I can't wait for this. Oh, dude, I'm so excited.
Tomorrow night at 9,
Yes, sir.
my ass gonna be planted on the couch, boy. Planted.
Forget school, man. This is my
This is
priority.
the problem is I have a really big exam as well that I'm trying to figure out when I'm gonna take it.
Listen, Jeremy, it's okay. That can wait. This is a single deadline for the finals.
I already
Deadline's
know
at
my
9.
Wednesday night, Friday night, Sunday night, and Tuesday night all booked. All booked.
100%.
Anyways, with that being said, I think we've hit everything we wanted to hit. Is there anything that anybody else wanted to add?
No, I think we've exhausted basically every route of conversation.
This is good, man. It's good.
No, this is
Matt, are
good.
you gonna do your MLB at some point, or?
I would like to. I just don't want to do it solo. So.
It's very unfortunate for you because I am extremely busy. But we will make
Yes,
that work.
yes, it
So
is.
keep an eye out for that. Thank you again to Thumbnail Gun for being the thumbnail gun. We appreciate you. In the description down below, check out the highlight videos that I was showing in the beginning. Those will be linked, as well as our social medias, our Instagram and our Twitter that we don't use, but they're still in the description since I copy-paste the description. Also, is our Discord. So make sure to check out our Discord. Come on over, say hi. We are a lot more responsive in there. Thumbnail Gun has just put a very weird face in the chat when I said thanks for showing up.
Chill. Why you fucking?
Oh, Spinky has decided to pop in. Anyways,
Did he make complete thought?
no, he didn't. He didn't. He just interrupted to interrupt.
Just
Oh, I didn't mean to talk. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. Just finish your sentence. What were you gonna say? Don't what? And now we've got silence. Alrighty.
Okay, all right.
It's not
Um,
relevant to the video, so I'm not gonna say it.
Oh, fair enough. We
You
appreciate
just sat in here and coughed. Like, what do you mean?
it.
Hey, and both team
COVID-19.
has been a little more active. Lots of Yankees retweets lately.
Oh, Twitter's active. Instagram is definitely not active. Can confirm. I don't even think I'm logged into it on my phone anymore, but that's a story for another day. Yeah, we're probably gonna. Are we gonna try to do a mid-series check-in, or are we just gonna phone it in?
Phone it.
Yeah.
Spinky has
Wait,
spoken.
what's happening?
I guess
Wait,
we're
what?
phoning it. I asked if we were gonna do a mid-series check-in, or if we were just gonna phone it, and Spinky said to phone it, so I guess we're phoning it.
Listen to fucking Spinky, bro.
That-
Come on.
I mean, I have no clue.
What I'll say is we'll definitely check back in after the series, kind of do a recap.
I'll understand after the series.
100% after the series.
If this series is heading towards like what looks like if one team's playing like shit and it's looking like it's about to go 4-0, I don't know if we really want to talk about that. But if it's like
If it's a good, let's put it this way: if it comes down to a game 7, you will see us before game 7.
yeah, I think that's fair.
No, that's fair.
Anyways, yeah, keep an eye out for Matt's baseball playoffs recap.
Well, I mean, listen, it's only the wild card round, and so it's like, a bunch of teams playing. So, I'm not as concerned about getting this out. I'd like to get it out before all the game sets are over, which likely they won't be, but because many teams probably gonna be a 1-1 tomorrow. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Well, I'm hoping to get it done before the end of the wild card round.
Fair enough.
It's a weird year.
And then also we'll have, because it's such a short. I'm curious to see when they're going to start up the NBA season again. But we already have moving pieces for the NBA offseason, so we will probably be back
yeah.
for that at some point. But anyway,
Oh,
that's
so
it for us
this
for
offseason's
today.
gonna be very busy.
What's up?
This offseason's gonna be very busy. NBA wise.
Oh, for sure. But that's it for us for today. And closing thoughts. Anybody?
Alex Caruso MVP.
Here we go.
Yankees rock
second
Shane
that.
Bieber.
Okay.
I
Alrighty.
want the Heat.
Thumbnail is still back in the heat.
Gun. Back in the heat.
Again, man, I'll bet you more money if you're willing.
Anyways, before we get gambling,
Money.
before we get to gambling, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.
Have a good one,
Peace.
guys.